Hey, everybody, welcome back to a new episode of the WandaVision review. And today, of course, my comic gamer gal sister.
Hello. What's up?
And well, of course, I don't have an intro for him, but maybe next time because I'm only learning. But
Thanks. That's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Awesome intro. Awesome. How are you
yes.
ladies doing today? Wonderful to be here again for another week of excitement. Oh.
Oh, for real. So before we get started, I want to do a quick recap on what happened on yesterday's episode. But I'm not going to talk about the episode itself. I'm actually going to talk about or mention the lyrics that were being sung during the intro, because that says a whole lot. So the episode is called On a Very Special Episode. And the lyrics go, "You wander the world with a vision of what life could be, but then the years come and teach you to just wait and see. Forces may try to pull us apart, but nothing can faze me if you're not in my heart. Crossing our fingers, singing a song, we're making it up as we go along. Through the highs and the lows, we'll be right, we'll be wrong. We're making it up as we go along. And there will be days we won't know which way to go, but we'll take it higher. You're all I desire. When the giving gets tough, when push comes to shove, we're making it up because we got love. We got love."
I read that too. That was awesome.
Yes.
So awesome.
Oh my goodness. Everything was just so.
That, though, there's stuff in that, you guys. When you really you can go really deep into this, or it could be nothing, but there's meaning in that. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason why they put that in there.
Right? like everything in this episode is just.
Yes.
But we have some people in the chat already. We have Monty. We got Hack.
Whoa, Hack, what's up, buddy? Oh, by the way, I promised. Hold on.
Oh.
Hack.
Now we need a Hack intro.
Yeah.
Cue the intro. Boom. Hey, hair is up. Yes, the only way is up.
That's right.
So I know there's a lot to say about this episode, but let's try at least and stay focused by how it goes from the beginning till the end, because the end is probably what gets us all screaming.
Yeah.
Let me see my notes. What I noticed first when there was previously on WandaVision, they changed the dialogue of what Wanda is saying. Because when Vision enters and is like, where is Geraldine or whatever the fuck her name is, or at least Monica Rambeau. Previously she said, oh, she had to run home. But this time she said, oh, she's gone. She didn't belong here. And I was like, already changing this? Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, hopefully you'll watch the episode first. Oh God.
Sorry.
Everything screams 80s, and I love 80s sitcoms. So I like all like 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s sitcoms, and this really just screamed straight into my soul. Like, I like the fact that it showed that Wanda has no control over her kids. Right. That she even is using her magic, like, and then like, why won't you do what I want? I thought that was so. Right.
Sorry, my mind is going and going and going.
Right, like everything is just so ooh. But then Agnes walks in, and that's when shit just gets. Now is and shit just gets awkward. She says, I got a couple of tricks up my sleeve. And I'm like, yeah, go ahead, Robert.
Did you notice what she said? I actually noted that, and I found that interesting. She said, what did she say? Oh, I'm looking for your dark liquor. When they're trying to put the babies to sleep, I'm like, what? What? Dark liquor? She said it so fast, you had to really listen to what she said, but it was there. And I'm looking for your dark liquor. What?
Yeah.
What's going on?
That was one thing that I don't get.
Yeah. I was like, what? I mean, I heard, but go ahead, keep going.
The whole awkwardness when she just walks in and it's like total sitcom style and
jazzercise.
And then Vision is like freaking out because he doesn't want her to touch the baby. He's like, did you wash your hands? Like it's almost like he goes off script, but Wanda just lets it happen. And then she gets really awkward and she's like, do you want me to take that again? Should we just take it from the top? And I'm like, hold the fuck on. Is she the one in control? Because there is a reference later on that we will get to with what's his name, Norm, because he said she's in control. That I'm like, is it even Wanda that he's talking about? But to go back to the aerobics 80s typical, let's get physical.
All I could think of was Olivia Newton-John for some reason. I don't know why.
Yes. Like it was so typical. Like all the suburban women were always dressed like in this swimsuit and the leg warmers. But there was also the first time that she was being really obvious that all of this wasn't an act, or it was an act. Like she knew. And also in this episode that Wanda just used her magic in front of her, which I thought was also weird. But Wanda was confused at first when Agnes was like, shall we do that again? And she's like, what?
Yep.
Yeah.
What? And then Vision totally confused. Like his nervous laugh just made me laugh. Like, whoa. But she sprays lavender, and she's like, lavender's supposed to have a calming effect, which is true.
It does.
Ralph sprays it on me every night, and I'm like, again with the Ralph.
Yeah, exactly. And then it was disturbing when she's like, and get some of. How did she say that? Yeah, and get some of this when she's exercising, talking about her husband. Yeah, I'm like, what?
But for some reason, because fast forward, I don't want to fast forward it too much into the show, but Wanda knew the director. Like she knew he was the director, which makes me wonder, maybe Agnes is linked to him and maybe he is supposed to be Ralph and that he is connected to Hydra that connects Mephisto or whatever, because he is being really weird. But one thing that I also noticed, and then I'll let someone else speak, is that...
No, you're fine.
But I also want Gabby.
Honey, it's your show. Come on.
It's our show, damn it.
Yeah.
But what I noticed is that the kids grow up when Agnes is around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So is there anything else in the beginning, Gabby, that you noticed that you're like, well, hold on, you didn't say that?
So did it mention that the kids are like aging themselves up themselves?
Say it again.
We didn't mention that yet, that the kids age themselves up.
Because
no, not yet. But go ahead.
Like, I don't know, because like the first time that they grew up into like 5-year-olds, it didn't, like, I know it didn't show them aging up, but like they turn around and they're just standing there, and like, I don't know if it was them themselves or maybe Agnes could have done that, or
right.
Maybe Wanda. I don't know.
Yeah, because Agnes is always there when they are aging up. That's what makes me just question things, you know. Also, Oh no, that's for later in the episode. Let's not go too far ahead of ourselves before I break my own rules here.
No, it's all good, honey. It's all good. You know what makes me laugh is it's like I put notes of song lyrics down because I was listening to I see you guys. I'm such a nerd. I watched it 3 times. Watched it
Yes,
regularly,
me too.
gone through the whole thing. Watched the second time, and then I watched it with the subtitling. And when you watch it with the subtitling, you see so much more when you're reading it.
Yeah.
Also, that one kid that is still growing his teeth. He's so cute. I want to hug him.
They're both cute.
Yeah, they're both cute. They're both really cute. But there's something about his face, and I'm just like, oh, like I don't know. Like you see him, and you're like, he probably gets bullied a lot, but now he's in WandaVision, so he's an instant badass.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to him. Oh, look at him. Yeah. He'll get it next year, baby.
And we have Prowler 671. Hello.
Hey,
Thank you for joining.
welcome.
Lavender also gets rid of mosquitoes, just saying. Tips are always welcome.
Yes.
Everyone's skin so soft, also a great bug.
But it's funny how everybody's got their 2 cents in there right there. You know that? You notice that? That's funny.
I apologize for my cat. He's
all good, love.
It's the 4 of us.
He's a mess.
And then we go into the Monica X-ray section, which was also very interesting.
Yes. And are we there? Are we at that spot?
Yeah, we are here. We're at the G Monica spot. Oh God, he's excited.
Okay. What made me? Here's the only thing that makes me mad. 41 minutes is not enough for me. Sorry. They dropped 41 minutes of that show. That was it. It was 41 minutes for this episode. It was too quick.
Focus.
Put your hand right in front of it like this, sweetheart. Give it 1 second to focus in on your hand and then back up slowly. It'll catch up. There you go. Now slowly back up. There you go. You got it. You got it. Boom. Yay. There you are. Nice and clear. There you go.
All the wrinkles showing. I'm sorry.
No. Wrinkles here. Give me a break. So getting to that, her out. Okay. It was interesting with the x-rays because I rewound that and kept on looking at the x-rays, trying to see if you could see something, and you see a black image, part of an image in the slide itself, the negative that didn't come out where nothing was being taken. And then she shoots her outfit. She's being protected. Okay. What did you think of that?
Yes. Well, it was part of the, as they say now, the bulletproof vest. But the things that she has been saying also during the meeting, right. I'm having a weird ass feeling that Wanda is protecting people, but I don't know who or what or when.
Yep.
Because it's such a mind fuck. Sorry, Gabby.
No, it's awesome. It's true.
Because later on, she shows up with the drone, and then you're like, no, wait, is she now being the villain again? But that's for later.
Okay.
But let's see, what did I say? Her x-ray shows nothing. And then she is having this conversation with the Hayward, whatever his name is. And she says, Wanda could have made more victims. It could have been thousands more, but she put up her own quarantine. So that's why I'm like, who is she protecting really? I don't understand, damn it. And I survived because she chose to protect me when she got, blasted out. So it's like, but then you get these weird thoughts again, because later on she's like, oh, you're still here, with her lovely accent. I love it. So,
but then
anything you guess?
But then she also said that Monica said that she felt pain and Wanda's voice in her head.
Right.
So, and then, like, wait, probably shouldn't say that yet, but we kind of see that later on with Norm and Vision, and
Yes.
he says that Wanda's controlling everything with their grief, or maybe it's even her grief as well. So,
well, technically, he says she is controlling.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it, because you ultimately think of Wanda, but the way that I'm looking at Agnes now, I'm like, I think she is actually in control of the entire thing, because the whole getting like, shall we take this from the top again?
She had a town of herself. She had a town to herself in the comics. Agnes did. She was part of a whole town.
Salem.
Yeah.
New Salem, right?
There you go. Yeah. She
I didn't know.
ran that town. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a hint, possibly. You know?
Dang.
And it's funny how she always showed up at the right time with the most appropriate items that they needed, like Vision stuff.
Exactly. I noticed that too. Yep.
But also that Vision is catching on everything, because soon after that, during the meeting, we get to see this small clip where they say that Wanda broke in and she got the remains of Vision's body. And I was like, hold on, what's going on here?
Right.
Like, what happened? Because, again, the dialogue later on, she wants to be left alone and she wants what's hers. So I'm really wondering, because also Monica says, I don't think there's a political agenda behind it. So, oh gosh, this could go anywhere. In a good way.
Oh, yeah.
But also in a bad way.
Oh, yeah. That too.
Oh,
yeah.
I keep like high-fiving the camera. Sorry. I don't know what the problem is today. What I noticed was the dog that Billy and Tommy found, which was a straight reference to the Vision comic book, with his family having this creature-ass dog. And I thought that was, oh god. But also the acting of the kids. Can we have it? I'm like, oh.
That part was so cute.
Yeah. It caught me off guard with the dog's name, though.
Sparky?
Sparky's a pretty famous name, especially with, going way back. Found it interesting, the name that they picked for that.
Explain.
Yeah. Tell us why.
No. We'll keep going. Let's just go. Forget it. Let's just keep going. It's okay. It's okay.
We're going to kick Robert off. Robert doesn't want to share his knowledge. No, kidding.
No. It's okay. I just felt the name was interesting. And it really bothered me because I don't like seeing puppies die. But she all of a sudden mysteriously has got this wrapped up, her bushes, the plants or whatever thing, and the dog would ate the plant and then it passed on. I was like, and that whole, am I going too far? If I'm going too far, tell me to be quiet.
Well, we're still in the dog thing, but when he Vision is like, why are you, or no, Wanda's asking Vision, like, why are you so formal with hello, wife and children? Right. And he's like, yeah, because I have a feeling someone's going to walk in with the right appropriate thing. And when Wanda decides that the kids can have the dog, she uses her power, and Vision is like, but hold on, this wasn't what we were planning to do, because you're using your magic. And Wanda is just like, oh yeah, well, maybe you should, stop hiding yourself. And
like, I'm done hiding.
Right. But it's almost like, is she being manipulated into something? It's just, I think sooner or later there will actually be a showdown between Vision and Wanda, because he is so getting awake and realize what's going on, especially later on in the episode when he's actually stopping the end credits. I thought that was just amazing.
Yeah, it was cool. That was very cool.
and he asks her like, "What aren't you telling me?" He really is questioning everything, and I love it so much. Um, and then we get to the whole bulletproof thingy, the outfit, and what I this is a little side note. It has
Okay.
absolutely probably nothing to do. But for example, Darth Vader, Vader meaning father in Dutch.
Yeah.
But in this episode, hex was used. It's
Yep.
just like hexing powers, but hex is Dutch for witch. So I constantly think, oh, that's a nice reference, which probably has nothing to do with it. But I really like, how they use the word hex.
Yep.
Well, she is a witch.
Yep.
X powers.
Yep.
Yeah, the witching powers. Like, I'm not saying that, like Disney and what's his name, George Lucas is like going through like the Dutch like word books or like how dictionary. That's the word. Like, oh, let's find a specific word. But I thought it was kind of cute. But another thing that I noticed, and I talked about it with Gabby, because last week I don't really. With last week's episode, they start walking through Monica and Hayward, and she says, the program has not been the same since you went up there, Rambo. Observation and response, and she says, not creation. The world is not the same as you left it. And so, like, what are they creating?
Right.
But where's the other reference? Damn it! I was able to find it quicker before the show, but like one of the things that I said to Gabby was like, is this almost somewhat like a Fantastic Four reference?
That's what I was thinking too. Yep.
Like Hayward said some of the astronauts went up there and they got blipped out.
Yep.
And then with this, she gets her phone and she's like, I know an aerospace astronaut that could help. And I'm like, is this already a reference to the Fantastic Four? Like,
Yes.
what if like Richard Reed
Reed
worked
Richards.
yeah, Richard,
Reed
like
Richards.
Richard Reed. I think if that happens, I'm pretty sure on that Saturday show, Gabby is not here because she's probably still like on the oxygen.
We're finally gonna get it, Gabby. Finally, hopefully, yes.
Oh
That
my
would be
god.
awesome, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Yes, I agree, 100%.
Oh
But
man.
they're that much closer getting to my man, so getting that much closer.
Mm-hmm.
But did anyone else notice anything? Because those are like the things that stuck out for me. Because I feel like I'm only talking.
No, I don't want to interrupt. No, you're doing fine, Gabby. Go ahead, ladies first.
Let's see. Did you notice that Monica didn't want to talk about Captain Marvel?
Yes. Yes.
Like, what's the
Also,
tea?
Yes.
Tell me.
I mean that
Go ahead,
whole
yeah.
conversation about like how Scarlet Witch could have beaten Thanos by herself, which she could have.
Yep.
But Thanos called that blitz. And then she also said that no one came close, but then Wu said, I would argue that Captain Marvel came close, and then you see Monica, the look on Monica's face like change instantly.
Yep.
Like, I don't know if that was like a sad look or an angry look or kind of a mixture of both.
I think angry because why the fuck was she when Infinity War was happening? Because everything was also happening in space. But even though Nick Fury didn't page her, she should have known
Right.
that there was something massive going on. So I think that she's upset and therefore she couldn't be when her mother died. At least that's my small theory.
Sure.
Carol was Maria's best friend, so if I figured Monica probably blames Carol for not being there for when her mom died.
Yeah. Also that she wasn't there maybe for the funeral or whatever, like out of respect. Like she should have known in some way.
Yeah.
That's why, Brie Larson is like if it was someone else, that actress would have shown up for Monica's mom, It's just Brie Larson because she's like too busy trying to show everyone that she's the most powerful. No, I'm kidding.
Okay. The director, what's his name?
Hayward.
Kevin Feige? Oh,
Hayward?
I was like Kevin Feige.
Director of Sword.
No. I meant in the show. The director of Sword. Yeah, that's what I was
Tyler Hayward.
Tyler. All right. What are you finding out odd about that guy?
Everything.
A lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think he's actually part Hydra, or he is Hydra.
See, I have this. My gut's telling me one of two things. It's either Mephisto under disguise, or it's going to be, and which is what I'm thinking, the Grim Reaper. That's what I'm thinking. Because
Yes, I have a theory.
notice how much energy it's taking for her to do it all. There was a couple times there where you see actually Scarlet Witch look like she was drained. She was like draining her power. Notice how the shield was all of a sudden, like a couple times it phased.
Mhm.
You can tell that she's getting drained of her power.
Yeah, but there was also very strong red glare throughout the entire episode.
What's that, love?
There was also an extreme red glare, like present in like the entire episode.
Right. Also, the other thing that I keep thinking about, Nightmare keeps coming to my mind. Okay, Nightmare is another character, and if it's Nightmare, here's the reason why I would say this, and it's because he possesses mutant powers, so he will possess a mutant and use their power. He drains the life force off of them. So I'm always going back to Nightmare as well. So it's a very big possibility. Whether those two or three have anything to do with it. But if you notice in the director's office, if you look at the pictures in his main back office, the way they're shaped, and you go back to our other episode that had all the hexagons for the Brady Bunch, look in the very center. There is an X. Is this what we've been saying all along? That this is going to be, look at the very end. Look who shows up. Oh, I'm going too far. Sorry. Sorry, I'll shut up. I'll shut up now. So there's my little tidbit there, and we'll go on from there. I'll let you guys continue.
Hey, Lucy.
Hi.
Yo. Yeah.
Oh, I love Lockjaw.
Who knows? Because Miss Marvel is coming, and it's in Jersey, so who knows? Maybe some power will, happen to him, and then he blows up. And
don't want to go too far. Sorry, guys.
One of the things that Monica also says is that Wanda is rewriting reality, and just like I'm out of focus constantly.
I think your camera's picking up your beautiful earrings because of the way they're reflecting. That's what's happening. There you go. Boom. I should say. Continue, love. Saying about Monica.
Yeah, that she's rewriting reality. Like she says also later on, like, I'm an ally, and you know that. Like, she really doesn't believe Wanda means anything bad with it. Mm-hmm. And later on, when that one thing happens, it's so badass. We'll get to that soon, because first we still have to go through like the whole Norm thing, because that happens after this. Mm-hmm. I really think, that she really is on her side, no matter, because even brain fart, I'm sorry.
It's okay. You're doing what I mean.
Oh my God. It's the age. I'm getting old.
No, keep going. You're good. You got your notes there. You're good. You'll find it.
Maybe I'll get back to it later. Right now, it's gone with the wind. But in the next scene, we see Vision in the office, and I like how they talk about, computers. Like, can you find a wife on there? And he's like, yes, and you will. But that email or whatever it is that they are receiving, I find it interesting how Vision has to get the power from that computer and then uses it on Norm, and he just starts like not even glitching. He just stop focusing on my earrings. God damn it! Hi. And he basically is begging Vision, and he says like, you have to make her stop help her, making her stop. But he never drops a name. So ultimately, you would think Wanda, but I think it might actually be Agnes, because I think I have this strong feeling that Agnes is actually related or has something to do with Hayward, the director.
Right.
That he sent her in, like keep her in
That's
control.
what I'm thinking as well. See, you're right on the same page. That's exactly what I'm seeing.
Like he's the puppeteer, but she is like the soldier that has to guide everything. Yes.
Yeah.
Manipulating. Yep.
Oh, my goodness. Everything.
Exactly the same thing I'm seeing. What do you think, Gabby? You got some 2 cents for that? I want to hear what Gabby has to say. We might have missed something. I want to hear it.
I miss a lot, so bring it.
I mean, like I was saying earlier, he was saying that like seems to be in pain, like Monica was. And I mean, then Vision erases his memory, and then he goes back to talking about the email.
Right.
So
it also takes it back to that, what was it, Age of Ultron, when Wanda was like mind controlling everybody was in pain.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Robert agrees.
looking into their future to see, seeing
and
what
then,
their future is, what they were doing. No, go ahead.
And then kind of when, like, fast forward to when she actually walks out of the energy field, and try not to get ahead of ourselves. So,
no, it's right there because, they decide to send in a drone.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happened next. And, Wanda tilting her head. You're like, uh-oh. And then her eyes go red. It's like, ooh.
Yeah. I was like, oh,
but
God.
That scene.
Which one?
But she shows up with the drone. Is this yours? I was like, give me some air, water, everything. Put on the air coat. It's getting hot in here. But I love how her accent comes back. So in that reality, she's like the perfect American lady. Yeah. And then she comes back and then she's like all herself, like, is this yours? And what no, go ahead.
And at the end of all that, she really could have controlled the sword agents to point their guns at anyone, but she decided to point them at Hayward.
Yeah. Yes, because as I said before, like, she knows he is the director, and hold on, no one will ever take it from me again. And she's looking straight at the director, and I'm like, okay, what's the tea here? Because we only saw the visuals of her taking Vision's remains, but who knows? Maybe she had a conversation with Hayward before, and he's like, I'm going to use Vision for whatever. And she like, oh, fuck no. And I'm going to bring his remains. But then this happened because maybe that's all orchestrated, because maybe Hayward is still getting what he wants, because she still wants to go back, because now she's in love. She has kids. Like, everything is being perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But does she know him?
Yeah.
That's the mystery.
Getting some, it's just a little bit every single time, just a tiny bit, not much, just a tiny bit.
It leaves you begging and hanging for more. Like,
yeah, I know. That's why I said 41 minutes isn't enough. Exactly. I'm like, damn, I was so upset.
And then before you know it, the episode's over.
Yeah.
Yes. Like, you're like, 45 minutes, so that's finally a bit longer than before, but it felt like it went faster because there's so much happening in this one. Mm-hmm. And then when she walks back in and everything turns red, and I was like, what's happening here? Like, is she now taking full control, or is she like sending out a signal to someone that is controlling her, or who knows?
Yeah.
Do you have 2, 3, 4, 5 cents on that, Robert?
No. You're doing good. You're doing good. We're all on the same page. I'm good.
And then finally, we have a commercial again.
Yeah.
We have
Well,
Lagos, the cleaning spray. And for when you make a mess, you didn't meant to. And I'm right away like, oh, she's still like in pain, how she traumatized, of course, because she's like, when it happens and with the building in Africa, when she accidentally destroys it. And
Right.
moments like these, she really needs Steve Rogers, but he was so selfish to go back in time and live his own life. But if Steve Rogers was still here, maybe he does show up as a cameo, who knows? Like he would like totally guide her through because there's no one left. Well, maybe Hawkeye, I don't know, but fuck him. But did anyone notice how first all the liquid is all red and then it's yellow, like the Mind Stone color yellow?
Right.
And then with that sentence for when you make a mess you didn't meant to. Oh, Lucy has a bunch of sense. That's what I said. We need more, but also we look forward sometime for next week. We have that kid feeling again. Yes. When we used to wait for the next episode. This is definitely old school.
Yep.
Exactly.
Which pretty much shows our age.
Well, what is that supposed to mean?
But at least now we can watch it whenever we want. Back then, if you weren't at home, you had to put in the VHS and like put the timer on. And oh my god,
I hate that. And you had the stupid commercials recorded on it.
Yeah. Yes, you still had like first the end of the movie. Still, it's like, hey, they started too late.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we get to the part where the dog apparently is dead. I mean, we don't really know because we don't really see the dog. Like, oh no, I just try to hide it. Like maybe she is doing something else with it.
Right.
But the dialogue the kids are saying to her.
And the whole thing about, okay, so we're up to the kids now, guys. I don't want to go too far. Okay. So that whole part about her discussing with the kids and the kids pushing the mother to bring him back to life. Found that very interesting as well.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she definitely could just probably done it.
It's what you did with Vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think she put them back together again, to be honest. Just doesn't, you know.
Yeah, fix the dad, Mom. And then she says we can't reverse that, you know.
Right.
Because even though no matter how hard it is, you know, we can bring them back. And then he I think it's Tommy, I don't know, he keeps pushing her like, bring him back, Mom. And then they want to grow up again when Agnes is there, you know, like I don't know, when the going gets tough, just grow up, right?
What was there here? Yeah, I mean, it just keeps throwing up to me continuously. I just keep writing. I'll write a note and check and see something that will just ring a bell from an older book and be not muted. Okay, good.
Oh, you're not muted.
Grim Reaper and Mephisto, it just keeps ringing a bell. That director is bothering me. Keep going because I don't want to go too far. I'll spill my other beans when we get to near the end. So,
all right.
Okay.
Sorry. Try not to blow my wad in all one shot. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, because the ending is already like too mind blowing, but there's so many other things happening in the episode.
Yeah.
But then we get to the part where, you know, it's Vision and Wanda in the kitchen, and Vision is going ape shit. I loved it. And he's like, you know, there are no kids in Westview, and then it keep reminding me for the children. So what is going on? And but what she said, I found it really interesting. She said, do you really think I'm controlling everything? That I am somehow in charge of everybody? I don't know how any of this started in the first place. And I was like, okay. So you're also just running with it, but what the fuck is going on?
But then I think Darcy mentioned that Wanda changes everything that goes into the hex, as she calls it, and rewrites it.
I love how she was nicknaming him his little cat name Viz. She mentioned it quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of nicknames, the director was also like doing the meeting. Like, does she have like some sort of nickname? Like, because every superhero has a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, are they gonna drop Scarlet Witch? No, they didn't. But that what I did find funny, I totally not written it down, but now it comes to my mind, is that Darcy and the other guy are talking, and he's like, "Oh, I find this director." And she's like, "Oh, I'll say it. I think he's a terrorist."
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
And then the doorbell,
Mm.
and she's like, "I didn't do that," because every time when something happens, it's something unexpected happens in that world. If it's not Wanda controlling it, because Wanda will just say, "I'm going to bed," and then it happens. So let's watch TV, and.
Mm-hmm.
That sound at the sword, like there's a breach. I was like, uh-oh, what's going on? And she opens the door. And of course they go back to Sword, because Sword is like freaking out as well, because everything, and just like, oh my God, no, just focus. Like, what's going on? Like, you just see her face in shock.
Yep.
And then you see the silver hair, and I was like, no, they did not. Because we said it in previous episodes, like, oh, it would be awesome if they put Quicksilver in there. And I was like, no, they did not do that. And then the focus on his face. But before, I don't know if it's before or after, but the reflection in the mirror, like a lot of people also have been catching up that you see some sort of a red hand.
Right.
But when you see his face, there's a lot of redness going on around him.
Yeah.
And there he is, the ultimate, oh God, I want to say like wet dream for every like MCU nerd out there, because here is a mutant from the X-Men universe that came from Fox straight to the MCU. So now it's like, what will happen next? Like, will Tobey Maguire like walk in like dancing in the next episode? Be like, like, what's gonna happen next? But then how she Darcy said, like, she recasted Pietro.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And a lot of people are like discussing like, oh, it cannot be Pietro because he was in the 70s and this is current day. But I'm like, no, because this takes place in the 80s, so it makes sense that the 70s going into the 80s that he is there, for me at least.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Makes
Gabby,
sense.
when you saw this, what was going through your mind?
I was like, yes, Quicksilver.
He's here.
Yep.
The one time you're excited for a character that usually doesn't matter much to you.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't Hugh Jackman. That would have been or just imagine Deadpool walking in there, you know, like, so what?
Hilarious.
You got some fucked up daddy issues, girl.
Miss G would have lost her mind.
That'd be great.
No, Robert wouldn't be here because he's like, you know, I've got to bring the oxygen to, you know, a fan with a banana leaf. He's still recovering.
Opinion wise, what did you think? I mean, did you yeah, I see that, buddy. The Quicksilver, what did you think of that? That nice little bam, California Blendy.
Oh my gosh. Gabby, so what did you think of it when you
I want to hear it.
I was so surprised because I knew it was a long shot that they would actually bring him in.
Yeah.
But so when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is about to get crazy.
Yep. So it's like thinking maybe this is how MCU is going to bring in some of that X-Men universe. You know,
because I mean, we all know that he's a different version of Quicksilver,
right?
Because he's from the Fox universe,
right?
And I don't know, the possibilities are endless at this point.
That's what I'm saying. They just keep it keeps every episode we've watched so far always has a question at the end. Loop.
Yes.
A little tease, question mark. Tease, question mark.
But this time it was like, they just did that. They just did that.
Oh yeah, of course. Is anybody ever okay? So Scarlet Witch has been named a few things over the years, and she was portrayed as a villain the first time around. Are we done with this part? Can I talk about any of this?
We're basically now through the entire episode, so Pirate Will.
What's that?
We basically now went through the entire episode, so
went through
Pirate
it now?
Will.
Okay, so this is good.
Yeah.
So here's the things I wrote down for myself, because things I thought of about WandaVision, or Wanda or herself as a character. And if we look at her from the past to the present and all the tragic things that have happened to Wanda, all the things there's like, I wrote down multiple things, being named a traitor for one, from the very beginning get-go. Remember, she was created with her brother in the very beginning when she comes into being. Okay. And then the story goes even farther back than that on her. So it's like, where are they going to originate her form? You know what I'm saying? She's gone through so many tragedies in her life, right up to the death of Vision, the loss of her kids, being called a traitor. What was the other one? Death of her family, Magneto's father. Not really, but in a way, she's always had to live up to his standards all the time. She was being used by Magneto, wasn't like a loving relationship or nothing. Spell backfires, Vision's death, possessed by Kathon, another character, another villain, losing the children. And you wonder how she's got this all bent up inside of her. You know what I'm saying? Look at her anger and rage when we see her in Endgame. She comes out of the porthole and the whole thing with Thanos and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it just makes you wonder. It's like, is she in her own reality? She's being controlled. She's being controlled by the corporation. This whole thing. There's this, it's bothering me. Just let my woman go.
That's why it's not good to hold bad feelings inside.
Yes, exactly.
At some point they'll come out.
It's all building up inside of her. I mean,
you need to release.
Oh yeah, I mean, she almost did, and that was badass when she came out of the shield and.
Yeah.
Because how she mind controlled them all, but all the lasers just went to him.
Yeah.
Like it kind of like what you just said, Robert. It kind of reminds me of what happened with Invisible Woman when she transformed into Malice.
Right.
Because like she was already going through a lot at the time, and Psycho Man took advantage of her and transformed her and used her own grief and rage and transformed her into Malice. So
right. Exactly. You see where I'm coming from with that.
Mm-hmm.
They also a little tidbit out there. I was gonna say that what was it here? Okay. So if anybody doesn't know, does anybody out there know? I'll just put it out there. Do you know who Grim Reaper's brother was? That's what I was trying to show you earlier. It was this guy. Wonder Man. Yeah. Wonder Man was his brother, and he's got a lot to do with some of the series as well. West Coast Avengers, going all the way back to West Coast Avengers. But this is Grim Reaper's brother. Found that interesting. That's if they're going to use this character or they're going to use Nightmare. But my gut instincts is telling me if they go that route, it's going to be Nightmare or Mephisto, one of the two. Only because what's going on with her. When I'm putting the puzzles together and looking what's happening with her and why she's not, you see her thinking like something's off, and then she like stops herself, and anything bad that happens, she stops it.
Mm-hmm.
And Vision says that.
What's that?
Vision says that to her. Like first it was like a subconscious thing, but now you're really controlling it.
Exactly. And it's like, I keep thinking Nightmare is an example because of his powers. What he does, he drains mutant powers. He uses their powers. That's what makes him strong. Is this Nightmare using her, for what she is? And are they trying to make her a villain again? Will she be a villain again, a villainess again? I don't care if she does or not. It's not going to change my opinion about her.
She's badass. She's a queen.
That's going to make her more badass, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. And the only reason
that's
why
going to
I
bother
keep
me though is the X-Men thing. Okay, sorry guys, I got to say this, but Xavier is the biggest villain out there. I'm sorry.
Yes.
What he did to my poor Phoenix and all that. Give me a break. Control freak, control freak. What'd you say,
Magneto? Power to Magneto.
Yes.
Can I make a banner on here that just says it?
Exactly. What was that? I'm trying to read. What did Gabby say? She said one of the best MCU moments as of late. Was so happy. Which one was it? Sorry, I was reading your chat, sweetheart.
It's okay.
Lucy says, wait for the next episode. Exactly. Power of Magneto. I love it. Yes.
I love that.
But what? Wow, brain fart. What makes me think of Mephisto being the badass motherfucker is because of the series that you showed.
Yeah.
Because there is Avengers, there is Fantastic Four, and also with Fantastic Four being announced and knowing the story that Mephisto had the soul of Victor Von Doom's mother.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing that's bothering me. And I keep thinking, is this a moment that Dr. Doom's going to come into the picture? That's what I'm saying. They got these question marks that make sense.
Yeah.
With what we're watching. So that's what's making it exciting. I just love it. This is the kind of soap opera I like. Where you use your brain, think outside the box. That's what I'm loving here. And I just, I'm eating it right up. I could be the.
Usually it was HBO giving us this, right? These
What's
vibes.
that?
Oh my God. Usually it was HBO giving us these vibes like, oh, I cannot wait for the next episode. And yet here we are.
Right. Exactly. What was that? Smart Art says, hey guys, just wanted to the episode. Wow. X, I'm happy, but so confused at the same. Yeah, a little bit, but that's what's making it exciting. Simi's art.
Simi's art.
Simi's art.
Simi's art. Yes. I hope to have her as a guest sooner or later on this show because she also really loves it. And she recently started a YouTube as well. And she's a great artist. So
very cool.
Nice.
So thank you for stopping by. So it's out of focus.
Is Simi's art, if it helps, go back and see if you can find some of the issues. There's a lot of online sites where you can watch or read a lot of Scarlet Witch's backstories and drops. Now I'll give you a little bit of insight of kind of what's going on or watching. They've I love how Disney MCU whatever is doing this because they are bringing the interest back and they're making it like a treasure hunt. And it's just little tiny sections, little bit here, little bit there, little bit here. Look how many people since this show has dropped, look how many people out there have seen all these little Easter eggs,
Yes.
And it's like, it's bringing the excitement back into our character again. It's bringing her new life. And I also
find it very interesting how a lot of people didn't like the first 2, 3, 4 episodes. They were like, meh. But then this episode, they're like, oh, then here it is, X-Men from the Fox universe. Hopefully they won't bring in Apocalypse.
Big shout out there to Big Al. If you ever watch his brother, we predicted it a little bit. We're seeing it. X-Men. So we're seeing it. We talked about this a while ago.
Boxing, goddammit.
Oh,
Do I really have to cuss at
I
the
know
camera?
the camera can be a real pain in the butt.
Oh,
There you
wait,
go.
like
You're clear. There you go.
So is there like, Gabby, is there anything else in this show that stood out to you that you're like, okay, but now that we're done, I want to talk about this?
Um, I think it's interesting that Vision says when he's arguing with Wanda that he doesn't remember anything prior to all this.
Yes.
Yes.
Which makes sense because he was dead. Or he is dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
It also isn't that the same thing that happens to Hawkeye in House of M, that he comes back, but they're like, but you're dead.
Yep. Yep.
If only that was real with the current Hawkeye. He's boring.
What's that? What did you say?
If only that was true with the current Hawkeye, because I don't know. He was cool as Ronin.
Yeah.
Right? That was his name. Yeah, he was cool as that, but the fact that fucking Scarlet Witch, Scarlett Johansson, what's in the name, right? That she sacrificed herself. I'm like, no, it should have been him. He wanted to die. Let him. Should have like blasted him extra off the cliff.
That part broke my heart.
Yeah.
Yes, I was crying so hard. So how about you, Robert? Is there still something else that you're like, yo, we forgot about that? Yo.
No, ladies. I think we nailed it all. I think we got a lot of it. You're seeing references, though. I'm telling you, I'm seeing the references of the X-Men, the symbolism, there's so much. Yeah. Any predictions on how series will end?
Oh God.
No, not going to. I won't predict that because it could end in very different ways. We could all be like so disappointed at the very end of this where it's all inside of her head and she just wakes up. Wouldn't that make you mad?
Yeah, because there were some clips released, right, with like a white background that she's like, I'm like, yeah, okay, but what if?
A bad nightmare. This is a really bad nightmare, you know. That's right, Flash.
Well, but knowing it goes into the Doctor Strange multiverse of madness, and knowing how the Spideys are being announced with Tobey Maguire and that Garfield dude, this is going to escalate big time. But I also hope that Disney and Marvel know what they're doing, because they're putting so many characters right now. They're pulling them all in, and I just hope that they will not mess it up. Because sometimes a lot of people just don't know what to do with it, and they just mess things up, because they are bringing in the X-Men and the Fantastic Four, which, you know, growing up, the X-Men from 20 years ago, a lot of people will be like, I liked it because it's also nostalgic and you didn't know any better. And the same, you know, the Spidey movies were great. Well, the first one for sure. I can't really remember the other ones. But then you had the Fantastic Four that was highly messed up, and now everybody has high hopes for the MCU to pull it all off. So, you know, the pressure is really on them, you know, because they have all the nerds now coming together and be like, oh my God, is it finally going to happen now? Because let's be honest, if you're going to think about the entire MCU movies that already happened, there are a fuck ton of movies that I don't even care about. Like, I cannot even rewatch them.
Like which ones, love? Which ones? Like which ones?
Well, for sure, Thor: Dark World. I thought that was disappointing. Iron Man 2 was disappointing, even though Mickey Rourke was in it. I was like, you know, Mickey Rourke. I was really hoping that he would be like a badass, but even he couldn't save it. Iron Man 3, that came after the Avengers. The first Avengers movie, so you're so hyped up, and then you have a Tony Stark that's like undecided and throw that thing away as if it's the end for Tony Stark. Like, I know they were really going with the hype because there were like rumors going then that his contract was being expired, so they really went with that. but it was so disappointing.
Right. Well, see, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. Here's the thing. So far, MCU doesn't got everything right, but they've made our characters larger than life. They've done a pretty good job with bringing them what we were growing up with in some of the stories. A little mismatch, but they're there, which is, so they are giving a little bit to the true diehard fans. You have to remember this, and this is the thing that just drives me crazy about Fox. Okay, because Fox has had this, Sony has had these rights forever. Okay, look what they did with the Spider-Man movie, for an example. They brought Venom in before Venom actually had his own movie. He was in that movie. Okay, and they tried to play with that a little bit, and all these little tiny changes. People have to remember the expectations of these crossing over stories. You have to start fresh. Marvel has started fresh with these characters and these groups, what we are seeing right now up to the present. Spider-Man has been kind of all over the place, and that's because it's a different movie studio that's doing this. Yeah, it's portraying to the fans. They've thrown a lot of stuff into it that the fans know, but it's a newer generation of people. That's what it is. They have to portray to the new generation people, because a lot of them don't know who these characters are. And they're kind of like scratching their head. Well, who the hell is this? That's why they got us, and they got a community like this, so they can learn and go, wow, I didn't know that. Go look up this book, and bam, they got something exciting and new that they can read. It's a newer generation. So I always look at it with the expectation of, and my Queen G always tells me this. She's like, when I waited 41 years. I know I'm on that rant again, but 41 years for that last Star Wars movie. And I was so disappointed for the ending of that. As an example, newer generation of people, newer generation of kids to bring into the Star Wars franchise. So that's the same thing they're doing here. So a lot of the stuff that we know, we're going to appreciate, even if they drop a hint of it. And they've been doing that like crazy with Scarlet Witch. And that's why a lot of people are scratching their heads and not understanding 1, 2, and 3. You know, they're like, what the fuck is going on? I don't understand this. Why are they doing a soap opera? We get it. We get it. We get that. And that's what's, I just like, just think outside the box, people. Think outside the box. Don't follow the herd. Think for yourself. You got brains.
Think outside the hex.
Yes. Thank you. Don't look at just like, you know, and people keep thinking like, oh, it's another woman. I go, no, you don't get it. You know, if you're looking at materialistic things, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the person, the mutant, the superhero, whatever. You see what you see? I know you guys get what I'm getting at. Yeah. A lot of people out there don't. And that's the passion here. That's what's, sorry, I'm all excited. I'm just.
No, because I think that with WandaVision, what the MCU, like Kevin Feige is trying to do, is trying to set things straight again, because they promoted Captain Marvel as the biggest and strongest Avenger. And everybody was like, yeah, but hold on. It was Scarlet Witch that was like just killing Thanos twice.
Right.
Almost.
Yep.
And I think with that, they're just trying to set the record straight. Also, perhaps with the T, but we have Captain Marvel. We're not talking about her, you know?
Right.
I think
balance.
Yes.
A balancing act. Because everybody out there that's new to the superhero thing and this whole genre have not read any of these books that we have all read and know about. And so when the movie industry they got to make their money. You know, they're going to make their money. It's like, here, just take my money. You know, I'm going to watch it anyway, whether it sucked or not. I'm still going to watch a superhero movie. I'm still going to watch a bad DC movie, you know, because those are my heroes I grew up with, even if it was bad. And I might bitch about it sometimes, but it's like, seriously, in the end, you know, they are portraying to the fan in some little form. There's always something, and you notice it. So you notice when directors and creators are portraying to the fan. You know, so that's, you know, it's I keep saying it over and over again. It's an exciting time. I'm feeling like a little kid in high school again with my comic books rolled up in my back. Sorry, Splash. But yeah, I had comic books rolled up in my back. I was always reading them. So it's like, yeah, I wore them in my hands and that was a book. And I mean, yeah. Jumping off my ropes, capes and everything being Superman. Yeah, I broke my leg. Yeah, I know. But
we all had that moment, Robert. I mean, I grew up in a time where there was the X-Men Spider-Man cartoon and the Power Rangers and how we all tried to be a Power Ranger on the playfield. Like, and then, I won't talk about like a Power Ranger movie because I haven't seen any of them except from the 90s ones. But, but even, back like 15 years ago, I think, when the Transformers were being brought to life, a lot of people will say something about those movies, but it remains a fact. Like, even when I was watching those movies with her mom, like, God bless her soul, may she rest in peace. But she was like sitting there watching those movies, and she's like, now I understand what you guys were really into, because she was the one going out there to get the comic books, to get the action figures, and she had no idea what we're really into. Yep. But then she saw it on the big screen, and that people are really interested in it. And yeah, she was like, wow, this is so cool to see it come to life. I mean, Angelina Jolie being Tomb Raider, hello.
Right, exactly. I know I'm a super geek and I can get a little out there, but it's like I think I have some point of what I'm talking about. Some people look at me like, I have no idea. I had one guy in his example when I was talking about MCU when they were starting back up again and they almost went bankrupt, totally disagreed with me saying that, I don't think that Blade saved MCU. He wasn't understanding what I was meaning by that. MCU almost went bankrupt in the early 90s when they started bringing movies back and they were trying to make income. What I was saying is big credit, even though you might have not liked it out there. Everybody's got their personal opinions. I loved it. I loved Blade. I thought Wesley Snipes was great, but he did put MCU, Stan Lee, back on the map, on track again, because they've always had their things. Look at what's happening with DC as an example of that. When we look at DC, the corporation itself, it's gone through a whole phase shift, artists, writers, directors, through all of DC. And so we're wondering why all our DC characters are all mismatched all over the place. And the stories are not coming out the way they're supposed to be coming out. How many times they've changed Batman? And you get what I'm saying? It's a change of the baton, I guess you could say, So it's like it comes with the different era.
Yeah, because I said to a friend yesterday, like, it's like an honor being alive now in this day and age, because we grew up with, everything on a piece of paper or a cartoon, and now it's actually being brought to life. But especially with the MCU, like, of course, a lot of things can be said about the MCU, but the fact that they are bringing it to life, and oh my God, like,
you agree, Gabby?
Oh, yeah.
Opinion on it?
Yeah.
I want to hear it.
I mean, it all started for me with Spider-Man. So pretty much ever since then, Marvel has completely consumed my life.
By the way, because of you got me looking up my older versions of Invisible Woman that I did not know of. So you dropped some knowledge the other day, and I really appreciate that. That was awesome.
I appreciate you watching it. Thank you.
Of course. I was like, what? I didn't know that. One thing I didn't know about Invisible Woman was I didn't know she could actually, I didn't know she had like what was it? There was a protective shield you mentioned. You mentioned her powers, and I was really surprised about some of the powers that she had. I was like, I didn't know that. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm like, cool. That is very cool.
And even when we were talking
to a library.
And even when we were talking about the Invisible Woman series, like, they expanded on her powers that I didn't even know. So
yes,
I was like
changing their hair color.
Okay.
But for anyone that's watching, sooner or later we will go back into more Fantastic Four series, comic book wise, and Robert will join probably, and Splash Page Comics will join, because we also want his $1 on it instead of 2 cents.
This was a lot of fun, ladies. I love this. I look forward to this on Saturdays. You guys are awesome. So much
Hello,
fun.
CLG. Yes,
Whoa.
it really brings back the excitement, and I think um, sooner or later, well, in March, we will get the Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I think this will expand, and maybe on my channel, maybe on Gabby's channel, maybe on Robert's channel, whoever, because this is
Doesn't
like
matter to me, ladies.
the
Whatever you like.
MCU series.
Yeah,
Yes,
no
I think
kidding.
Yeah.
it's such an exciting thing, like because before we just had like one or two or three movies a year, and now you have a series, and every week you're just so excited, and
Right.
oh my god,
Mhm.
because I can also not wait what they're going to do with the Falcon and Winter Soldier thing, because it has to be connected to what's going on right now.
Of
So
course.
Mhm.
anything can happen. Plus, if anyone remembers the Spider-Man Far From Home dialogue between Spidey and Nick Fury, that he's like, "Can we get the Captain Marvel? She's out of space," and he asks for another character, and then he says, "How about Doctor Strange?" Currently unavailable. So if this is all taking place at the exact same time, hello, Stephen Strange, come into the world of Wanda, please. Yes.
Yes.
I'm like, oh god, like if you would just hear that one like sitar music, like I would just like, oh my god, he's here. Oh gosh. All right, so we're already an hour in. We've been through pretty much
Oh
everything.
yeah.
Let me just stop this banner thing because I'm still figuring everything out. Whoop. So let's see. Is it stopping? Yeah, yeah.
Did it
So
stop?
Roberto, what
Oh,
did you got going for now, next week, today, for tonight,
oh,
whatever?
today, tomorrow,
The
today.
time to shine.
First, I want to say thank you, Sandy. I appreciate it. Gabby, you're wonderful as always. Always, you guys rock, and I love this show. This is a lot of fun.
Mm.
It lets me release a little of this extra energy from my wonderful, beautiful Scarlet Witch. Sorry, one of my favorite characters. But thank you so much for having me, ladies. I really appreciate it. And if you didn't know out there, please go check us out at midnight tonight. We got a show tonight. At midnight, as always. I know it's late for everybody. So show up. And I have surprise guest. I shouldn't say surprise guest. We have Mr. Miracle tonight. Dave, his name is. Very interesting chap. I've known him for about 2 years. He's done a YouTube channel. And come check us out. He'll be our guest for tonight. Love you guys. Love you, Sandy. Love you, Gabby. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, and now Gabby, here you come. What do you got coming up?
Well, pretty much the only thing is, well, first of all, thank you all for being here. You guys are awesome, are fantastic. And also, probably my next Twitch stream will be on Monday. I finally figured out a schedule for Twitch. So every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm streaming on Twitch. So
Awesome. People will be able to find the timing on your Instagram, right? Because you will let them know.
yes.
All right,
Yep.
and then see you next week, sister. So, oh gosh, do it. All right, hi. So I want to thank everybody for watching, and I got a weak ass outro. I hope it works, and hopefully see you guys next week on a really highly anticipated new episode of WandaVision. So see you next time. Ciao.